What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and honestly, I feel like at this point I don't even have to say anything, but just by looking at this beautiful name, you can already tell that this is going to be a sick-ass article, and of course, a sick-ass video. Huge shoutouts to Akira, always providing just these beautiful articles. Man, they're just so in-depth, they really make you understand the OCG and now Master Duel. So this is absolutely perfect for everyone who wants to improve on the game, because even if you're from the TCG, obviously, just like, I want to say 99.99999% of people who are watching this video, learning about the OCG is still very relevant for us, because, for example, if we didn't know that Phantom Knight Brave was going to be a good deck, well, maybe we would have kept on playing the incorrect decks for so long, but now people are already just up to date with what the correct decks to play are. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe, check me out on Twitch and Instagram, and also huge shoutouts to Road of the King and Akira again, and let's jump right into it. So this is Season 1, Brigade is the #1 best deck with 28.3% of the representation. I am not even surprised at this point. I mean, the deck is not only easy to play, it's just not even hit yet. And yeah, no, I mean, it's a good deck. Obviously, Revolt is good. It can play multiple hand traps. It can, I guess, main deck Lightning Storm and Duster, because even if you draw Lightning Storm, when you go for the Beer Bloom effect or Frigid, it's just going to be the card that you put back on the bottom of your deck anyways. So I think because of that, you can literally afford to do things that other decks can't really do. And the second best deck is Virtual World. This also makes so much sense. And this actually follows a relatively similar logic of being able to play cards that it kind of shouldn't be playing. For example, the generic deck can't really play Gamma because you would be playing 2 good cards for 1 brick, so it's not really worth it. But in Virtual World, it is worth it because even if you draw like a Gamma when you're going first yourself and you already have monsters on the field, it's not the end of the world. It's just going to be your discard for Xinglong, so it really doesn't matter. And of course, it is that kind of deck that can main deck back removal or just not do it at all because it already has Chuche, which already takes care of that. So you don't really lose to Mystic Mine, you don't really lose to like a lot of bullshit. Virtual World is just really well balanced to beat everyone. And of course, because of VFD, instead of just being very good, the deck is unfair. So it's not the same thing, because if you take away VFD, the deck probably downgrades all the way to maybe here, I want to say maybe 6%-ish. So yeah, anyways, very good deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and that's personally the deck that I would be playing myself if I were to play competitively. It's just that I'm not really about that. I just want to play for fun. I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, there's no YCSs, there's no rewards, you might as well just have fun, it's just a game at the end of the day. Alright, Eldritch is the 3rd best deck, no surprise here, right? I mean, Skill Drain is broken, just the deck is very good in a best out of 1 format because not everybody is going to have like evenly Dust or Lightning Storm, so if you win the dice roll and your opponent doesn't have any of these cards, you basically just get a win by default. And it's very similar to if Drytron and Emancipator go first uninterrupted. The end board is basically unbreakable, so that's pretty much relatively the same with Eldritch, but instead of being combo, it's control. Right after, we have Zodiac, and now one funny trend is that the top 4 decks, none of them are combo decks. Even Virtual World is more of a mid-range aggressive deck than a combo deck, but you don't really go like super big or go home with Virtual World. I mean, if your plays get interrupted, and if you get a hand trapped, you don't permanently lose resources. Like you get ashed on a Lulu, the Lulu stays in your hand. So your backup follow-up plan is always very good. You always have Chuchi as a way to pop your opponent, and you get to play multiple hand traps. But when you're playing decks like Emancipator and Drytron, that is not the case. And with Zodiac, you're not doing much, but you're doing the exact same thing every single time, which is basically just either Drancia, Trident in the TCG, or you make a big, fat, obese Zeus with 6 materials, and you get to play like 12 hand traps, or insanity like that. So Zodiac is obviously a very good deck. That is probably the 2nd or 3rd deck that I would be going with. I'm a big fan personally of Virtual World and Lich and Zodiac, but if you are a beginner player who's trying to go super competitive, Brigade is the best way to go, even though that deck is very expected. Like, it's just such a popular deck that everybody's already ready for Brigade. People will not really misplay against you because everybody knows how it works. Alright, after that, we have, of course, the 2 decks that I've kind of talked about, so Drytron and Emancipator, both at 6.7%. Really good decks. I mean, obviously, if they go first, like I said, there's no way you lose, but if you go second, well, maybe you have to go against, like, too many negates. If you're playing Drytron, you can't really afford to play, like, too many flex spots, like Ash, Duster, whatever in your main deck. So Drytron would probably be up here instead of like down there if it was a best out of 3, because the deck is absurd. I mean, it has 3 Benten, it has multiple Avas, it has Union Carrier, it's complete bullshit. And Emancipator also has Union Carrier and freaking Block Dragon. What the hell? This is just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, like I said, both decks, they're just in the same category, so I'm not really going to go more in-depth about them. Prank Kids, very, very annoying deck. And it's going to be even more annoying when we're going to get Brave Token. But right now, we don't even have Flundereeze and Sword Soul and Phoenix Enforcer. So at least this is somewhat not... I mean, I like this format way more than I like the old OCG format where, like, I don't know, yeah. I mean, when you see Drytron being low on a pie chart, you know that the format is actually kind of so aggressive, but at the same time, there is Max C, so it kind of makes sense. Brigade special summons like once or twice max. So yeah, alright. For the other decks, Chaos Thunder Dragon, I mean, no surprise here, Colossus is a thing. Every TCG fan of Colossus would probably be playing this card. I would probably be playing the deck literally just for like nostalgic purposes, even if they know that it's not necessarily the best deck. But I actually think that this deck is very good nonetheless. So yeah, Cyber Dragon, it's a fun deck. I mean, I play Cyber Dragon and I got to Platinum 1 with it, but it's nowhere near the other decks, unfortunately. Alright, Danger Dark World, it's a cool deck as well. I think there's more Danger monsters, so this could be a TCG player who just really wanted to have like fun with one of his favorite decks. I actually just had a voice crack. That's crazy. But anyways, whatever. Dinosaur, Eligma Invoked, Junk, Doppel, Phantom Knight, Brandish. Brandish sucks in Master Duel, for the love of God. Stop playing this freaking deck. There's one Kigari and it's just not good enough. It really just isn't. Like, you could say maybe if there was like 3 engage, then the deck would be much better, but with 2 engage, 1 Kigari, hell no. Alright, Brigade, Lyrilusk, True Draco, Utopia, Zephyra. I'll be completely honest with you, I don't understand why Brigade Lyrilusk is down there when the almost pure Zodiac, well, pure Brigade, not really, because they are playing a microscopic Zodiac engine. It really is misleading because there is no Barrage, there is no Rat, so the Zodiac engine is almost nothing. It's like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 cards max, just so the Tenki is better, because Tenki is still a 3 in Master Duel, since it follows like an old OCG ban list. So I guess there's that, but I mean, like, come on, seriously. Yeah, and like I said, Brigade Lyrilusk is such a more aggressive deck, so I really am surprised that this is not, like, just much higher, honestly. But yeah, I guess Max C again. Very good argument. Max C is such an annoying card that the broken decks just become, like, not broken anymore. And yeah, Utopia is a very good deck, and people will misplay against it because they don't read cards. I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, obviously they don't read cards. So they're probably going to interrupt you incorrectly, meaning that even though your deck might not be as good as the other super aggressive combo decks, it's still such a good surprise factor deck that I'm a big fan of Utopia personally. And Zephyra is also a very interesting deck. It can do a lot of spicy things. Because of the fact that there's Denglong, Maxi, etc., there is a cool combo where you can actually search Maxi indirectly. You can stack it from your deck into the top of the deck with Oracle of Zephyra, the field spell, and then you draw 1 card with Stardust Charge Warrior. So that's a really nice play that you can do in Zephyra. It's really easy to achieve as well. I think it's like a 2-card combo or a 1-card combo if you're playing bricks, but I don't know. Maybe I have it wrong. Maybe it is a 1-card combo. I don't know, but regardless, pretty cool pie chart for the most part. So yeah. Alright, Brigade. I mean, look at this deck list. It really is very minimalistic on the Zodiac, exactly as I said. So there's no Barrage, no Rat. You're really just playing 1 Thoroughblade, 1 Ram, 1 Whiptail, that's all. But a lot of commitment in the extra deck. So this Zeus can't even have that many materials because we are missing the Hammer Kong. So I'm not sure if this is necessarily something that I'm a big fan of, because that means that if your opponent has, like, let's say, Crystal Wing and Hot Red, okay, that's like the worst example I could have given. Let's say your opponent has double Crystal Wing, your Zeus cannot beat double. It can only beat one of them, because you go Zeus effect, detach 2, now you have 3 left. Your opponent goes Nugget, and then you go, like, effect again, and then your opponent goes Crystal Wing numero 2, Nugget, and then you have 1 material left on your Zeus. But if you had Hammer Kong, then you would have 6 materials, meaning that you can use the effect thrice. I feel so sophisticated when I say this word, Bernard, which means that your opponent can have double Crystal Wing, and you just go send, and your opponent dies, and you win. That's a pleonasm, I didn't have to say that, but whatever, you get the point. Anyways, for the Brigade lineup, 3 Nerval, 2 Kid, 2 Kaz, 3 Kid, 3 Fractal, 3 Ray, Oh no, sorry. I feel like at this point this deck is even more annoying than like normal summon Alistair and normal summon Ray. It's just I'm actually getting tired of like Zodiac Brigade. But yeah, again, you might be wondering, oh, Yak Sign, why is this guy main decking Lightning Storm and Duster? I literally just explained it. It's a best out of one format, so you kind of need to like play back row removal in a way. And again, a very good question here would be, well, if you want to not conflict the Lightning Storm when we were going first, why not play Twin Twister? That is actually a very good question, and that is also something that has been answered by our good friend Akira. And the reason why Lightning Storm is being played instead of Twin Twister is because Lightning Storm, did I say it wrong? Whatever, Lightning Storm is being played over Twin Twister because it has the ability to destroy face-up attack positions, which is going to be good against like Appaloosa cards going second, so just Link monsters in general. And other stuff. I mean, if your opponent doesn't actually make, like, generic negates, if your opponent is playing Lyrilless Brigade and goes for the Wind Bear statue instead of Apex, your Lightning Storm is destroying pretty much everything. So yeah, this card is very, very good. It's just very flexible, so why not? And then the Duster is not a card that conflicts that much. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a neg1 when you go first, but whatever. I mean, you only need, like, 2 cards to play anyway, so you don't need, like, a full hand of, like, 7 interruptions when you are playing Zodiac Brigade. This deck is like the classic, I only make 2 negates, well, 2 interruptions, but the thing is, my follow-up will always kill you, and I'm very consistent. So again, this is a deck that doesn't do much, but it's good at what it does. So this is a pretty good deck list. This guy actually went 7-0 at a tournament with 124 players, so not too bad, not too bad. Alright, moving forward, Virtual World. Not too much is being explained here outside of the fact that Crossout Designator has the ability to negate Nibiru, but I'm not a big fan of Crossout. I actually wouldn't play it at all, because it forces you to play hand traps that you don't really want to play. Exactly as he is saying, Artifact Lancia and Skullmeister are just not really worth playing in the main deck, because you might just go against matchups that don't lose to any of those hand traps. So it's not really good. And yeah, sure, you can negate like hand traps with Call by the Grave as well. You can negate like Ash with Gamma when you go Desires or Italy or Kowloon. But, I mean, come on, I mean, who really cares? And yo, SWAT Kage is a $1,000 tournament. If you're watching this video, I'm a huge fan of your channel, by the way. And yeah, again, Virtual World Chuche, really, really good. It destroys back row and stuff like that. I mean, not back row, but I mean spells, continuous traps. So yeah, Skill Drain, even though Skill Drain, not the best against Virtual World. I feel like Virtual World should have a pretty good time against the majority of the decks. It doesn't have like any instant, easy, like auto-win matchups, but it doesn't have any instant auto-lose matchups. So if you enjoy having a chance against everyone, I think Virtual World is probably the #1 option. Alright, Eldritch, probably the last deck here. Lava Golem is being main decked right now and not being side decked because, again, we don't have side decks. Unless you're playing in like really weird tournaments that actually allow side decks, that would be the case if you play like best out of 1, but then you have to like play against your opponent again, exit the room, change your deck, stuff like that. But it's just so weird. I mean, it just takes so long that people don't really bother with that. Yeah, Lava Golem in the main deck, not too bad. Danomiskis, it handles both monsters, spells, and traps. Vanity's Emptiness is really sacky. Double Strike only, I would definitely play 3 of that. 1, Wakanda Forever. Imperial Order still there, jeez, it's so annoying. No Tikaboo, really shocked because it's so broken. Rivalry, but only 2 goes in. What? I would do the exact opposite way around. You can argue, though, against Brigade, Rivalry is pretty good, so yeah. And by the way, even that deck can play There Can Only Be One. Well, not super well, but against a few decks, maybe. I don't really recommend it, but whatever. And then yeah, 3 Conquistador. How many Hakueros? Jesus, 2, okay, yeah, I'm actually blind. And that's it for this deck, so yeah, I mean, it's relatively standard for the most part, outside of like some very minor things. Like personally, I would only play 2 Eldritch the Golden Lord. I would play 3 Extravagance with 2 Prosperity, because you're not really digging for one super specific card. Yeah, sure, you can argue that Emptiness and stuff like that are good, but whatever. And in case you want to ask why is this guy not playing hand traps, in trap decks, hand traps are not the best because they trade like 1 for 1 or 1 for 0.5. But you want trap cards that trade 1 for multiple cards. So Torrential Tribute can trade like 1 for 5, which is insane. Scale Drain can nullify literally every advantage that your opponent has, and then you just win it out in simplified game state. Strike allows your blowout cards to resolve because your opponent can't really negate a strike. So you go Torrential Strike, you win. Conquistador is obviously a very good card, and Hakuero is a good card. I mean, it's engine cards, so they are not really part of the equation. And Rivalry goes in, they're like Floodgates that are also good going second. Even Emptiness sometimes is relatively decent going second. But yeah, you get the point now. The extra deck makes me bleed from my eyes. I really don't understand why this guy is fully committing to like an extravagance extra deck. It's really expensive. I mean, you really have to spend a lot of ultra rare points just for a freaking second copy of Pleiades, second copy of Liebe, second copy of Gustav Max. I actually just think this is useless. Unless you pulled like most of them, but so neggy. Maybe this guy's only playing this deck, but this is such an expensive deck. I mean, Virtual World is so much cheaper in theory. If you don't want to play like the Called by the Grave and some of the not super broken cards in the extra deck, like the Final Ligma, you don't need it. The Ptolemy, you don't really need it. It's a good card, but you don't actually need it, actually. And this deck, I think, is just the best balance of being cheap and being accessible and easy to play. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So exactly as Akira Singh here, this is very similar to like the 04 format from the OCG back in 2021, so January, February, something, I can't count, okay, I'm stupid. And the only difference with the current almost Yu-Gi-Oh! No, there's a lot of difference. VFD is a thing, and Barrage and Rat are banned, so Zodiac is a little worse, but not by a long shot, because, and it's a one-of, unsearchable one-of that went from 1 to 0. So, I mean, who cares? And Rat, there's not like a big difference between Rat to 1 and Rat to 0. There is a huge difference, though, between Rat to 1 and Rat to 2. And, of course, Rat to 1 and Rat to 3 is like like a tier 0 difference. Like, the Zodiac engine would be, like, super broken if Rat was a 3. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts in this OCG metagame, this Master Duel metagame breakdown. And, yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, blah, 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 all the beautiful package. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!